Goddamn, conversations with legends. Crazy how one day your idols can turn into your brethren. Bitches we severing. Hit up my.
What's good, y'all boys? What's up, bastards? Got a good little show in here for you today. I'm gonna do something I don't usually do. Got a lot of topics to talk about, so instead of talking about them all individually, I'm just going to talk about them all in a row, and then we're gonna chop everything up once we're all said and done here, and release the videos individually on YouTube. So, all right. I want to just get everything out while everything's fresh in the brain. First thing I want to talk about, oh shit, we coming back to the Rat Pack. Oh shit, I got another one for the Rat Packs. Here we go. I know y'all getting mad at me. All right, in the group, you might be a Logic fan if an article was shared. Logic's Everybody just set a very bad chart record. Logic was flying high a week ago when his album Everybody moved a surprisingly strong 247,000 sales. He's not flying so high after week 2. In fact, Logic has now set a record for the biggest drop in sales for a #1 album debut. According to Hits Daily Double, everybody experienced not everyone, but like everybody, everybody's albums. Everybody the album, in case you're not keeping up, experienced an 86% decline in SPS and a 96% drop off in pure sales numbers. SPS is streaming, and the pure sales, that's a physical copy sold and digital copies sold online. In his second week, his third album finished 12th on the SPS chart with 35K. Ooh, and 26th on the pure sales chart with 8K. After everybody's big first week, we wondered if Logic had established himself as a top-tier rapper. Now it looks like the DMV spitter has a really dedicated fan base who rushed out to buy his album, but a fan base that's still not large enough to force him into top tier. Either that, or everybody just isn't very good and got crushed by word of mouth. Now, I have 2 reviews of this album online. One of them is my 30-minute long kind of rant, and the other one is my most recent review of it, my 15-minute review, where, I was calmer, everything was more concise, and, I was a little more to the point, and I made my point very much clearer. You can check out both of those. I'll link them in the description. I forgot to link my original review and my new review as well, so I'll go back and do that. What do I feel about this? Well, let's see how the Rat Pack feels about it first. The dude who shared it, I'm not going to say his name, but he said, "In my opinion, this doesn't matter. A lot of people did not like this album and others didn't understand it. This album was made for Logic's hardcore fans. Without listening to Tits, giggity giggity, people aren't going to understand everybody." He didn't put giggity giggity. So any new fans aren't going to appreciate it until they go back and listen to the older stuff. Simple as that. Now, for the record, I commented under this, and, I responded to this status, and I responded to it respectfully. We had a respectful conversation. Dude is real cool. Dude didn't get an attitude. He didn't get mad. We just had a simple Logic discussion. And at the end of the day, we came to agree to disagree. It's how this shit should go. If somebody comments under a status, you should engage in conversation and then end the day with, "Hey, motherfucker, does this really matter?" So agree to disagree. Okay. I posted a status. Okay, I posted a few statuses, so I'm going to say my first one that I posted. I disagree. Firstly, you don't need to listen to any of his previous work to get this album. Other than the end of the last track, it has nothing to do with any of his other projects. I feel that this is more of a fact than an opinion. This album does not have much to do with anything else in his discography at all. It doesn't. In terms of this overarching story that began in The Incredible True Story, it's not relevant here. It's not, okay? Listening to this album before listening to any of his other projects will not hinder your enjoyment of this album that much. That's just the truth. It's not going to happen, okay? This album is pretty much of its own. It's in its own little area until the end of that last track where we hear what are the dudes' names? Kai and what was the other dude? I forgot the other dude's name, the white guy. But, while they're walking and then Kai is just like, is that it or is there more? And then the white guy's like, no, I'm queuing up the fourth one now. His final one. It doesn't have anything to do with the actual album, Everybody. It doesn't, tie anything together for you or anything like that. I said, secondly, this does matter and should matter at least a little to Logic. He needs to figure out what the reason for his huge drop is. Is it really just the not so huge size of his fan base that's willing to purchase the record, or did the word of mouth on it being somewhat disappointing and misguided hurt its sales? Later down the road, I stated more of a message to all the Rat Pack fans. I said, I think a lot of you are missing the point. No one's saying the album is bad because of how much it sold second week. It's just a fact that it sold significantly less on the second week, and the goal for Rat Pack should be getting to the bottom of this and finding out why this occurred. We know y'all don't care about people's opinions, but you can't ignore the numbers and what they possibly mean. Now using that, I have a message to all the Rat Pack fans. I know you guys want to live in this fantasy world where sales don't matter and charts don't matter and records don't matter and it's all about the quality of the music. Look, I'd love to live in this world too, but the fact of the matter is that's not how this shit works. There are sales, there are charts, there are records. It's fantastic that Logic's first week sales dethroned Kendrick Lamar's Damn from being the number one album for that week. Now, for those who keep running around screaming that that's such an accolade and that's such a great achievement, Damn has been out for about a month or so now. So Damn has been out for a long time. So even though it's been able to hold its number one spot for this long, y'all gotta understand, Damn has been out for a minute. So is it really that big of an accomplishment? This album was released on the 14th of April. That was over a month ago. It should have been dropped off to number one. So running around screaming that, oh, Logic dethroned Kendrick's Damn. Okay. Fantastic. It was going to happen regardless. This album has been out for a month and a half. It was going to happen regardless. Let's face it. I'm looking up the commercial performance now. As of May 17th, the album sold over 500,000 copies and 1.148 million album equivalent units in the United States. That's all in the United States. So this album has technically already sold over 1 million units. Already. So it's already made 1 million. So Logic dethroning his number one album with his just because Logic got more sales in his first week than Kendrick did in his 6th week of release, 7th or 5th week of release, not that big of an accomplishment. So it's his highest selling album yet for Logic, but still. Now that we've moved on from that, think about what this second week drop off means. Think about what this means. The second week, it only moved how many did it move? I'm going back to it. Hold on. I'm going right back to it, y'all. Gotta find this right here. Oh no, that's a Linkin Park discussion. My fault. And trust me, we're going to talk about that too. But here we go. Don't go to the comments. Here we go. In the second week, his third album finished 12th. I don't care about where it finished, but 34K in streaming sales and 8K in pure sales. 196 in pure sales first week. 8K second week. Andrew, what does that even mean? Why does that matter? I'm going to tell you why it matters. It means when you have huge first week sales, that means a bunch of people rushed out to buy it and a bunch of people rushed out to listen to it. That's all that means. It doesn't mean that it's great. It doesn't mean that it's bad. It means a lot of people rushed out to listen to it. A lot of people were interested in hearing it. A lot of people cared about hearing this record. That's all that first week shit means. How many people were interested in getting this record, buying this record, listening to this record? That's it. The second week is what shows us more of the quality of the album. There are only two possibilities which were mentioned in this article as well. The only two possibilities are A, the most unlikely one, the fact that Rat Pack just ain't that big. Rat Pack just ain't growing enough. And everybody that went out and bought it, that's about the equivalent of the Rat Pack. That's the Rat Pack right there. There's not many more other motherfuckers than that. You know, of course there's the other motherfuckers that stream it and buy it online, and I mean not buy it, but download it and pirate it and all that shit. We know. In this internet world where nothing can be implied, of course there are motherfuckers who listen to it illegally. But besides that, Rat Pack just ain't that big. That's the first thing. Now, the second option, the second possible reasoning for this, the one that I'm going with, is that a lot of people heard this shit first week and word of mouth spread that it just ain't that good. Now, this is something that Rat Pack fans cannot take. They just can't take it. They can't take the fact that this album is not getting rave reviews. Well, guess what? It's not. And word of mouth has spread, which means the sales dropped significantly. Why do you think Batman v Superman did not make $1 billion at the box office, even though it opened box office weekend with over 100 million? Over 100 million box office weekend. It had the biggest weekend opening before Civil War came out. Right? Or am I wrong? I'm looking it up. Check this out. Check it out. The film grossed 166 mil in the US and in Canada opening weekend. The 8th biggest opening of all time. So I was wrong. It was just a huge opening. The film had a worldwide opening of 422.5 million. Worldwide, 400 mil. However, both inside and outside of the United States, BVS experienced a notable poor Friday to Sunday hold and set a new record for the worst Friday to Sunday drop for a superhero movie released in modern box office history, with a 58% decline. In the second weekend, it experienced a historic box office drop with an 81% decline on Friday. That was one of the biggest Friday to Friday drops any blockbuster has ever seen. Even though it didn't face any big competition at the box office. That means nothing else was out that anybody wanted to see. Nobody went to see it. What does that mean? It means that everybody went to see it when it came out, but then after it was out, word spread. Oh, it ain't that good. And then everybody heard it wasn't that good. People stopped seeing it. Same thing with the Logic album. I feel like the album dropped, and everybody that's not die hard, hardcore, Rat Pack, love everything Logic, everybody other than them admitted to themselves, it ain't that great. It's good, I guess. It's alright, but... And then there's the people that were like, I was disappointed. And then there's the other people that were like, I ain't like it really. It's kind of bad. That word of mouth spreads. Now you're probably thinking, Andrew, no one cares. No one cares about sales and charts and shit. It doesn't matter. It does matter. Logic has set the record for the biggest drop in second week sales for any album that debuts at number one. The biggest. That means the lowest, I mean not the lowest sales, but the biggest drop from first to second week. That is really, really bad. Because it means that word of mouth spread that this album was not that good. So nobody bought it second week. No one supported it second week. People didn't go out and plus you got all these people that buy multiple copies and shit. Like you got all these people out here who buy multiple copies first week. So you gotta take that into consideration as well. Yes, okay, 250K first week for an artist like Logic, that's great. Guess when it's not so great? When we're looking at fourth week sales and the album has only sold a total of 300K. And of course, we're not in the fourth week yet, so I'm not predicting anything. I'm just presenting the idea. It's not going to look so good if we looking at fourth week and the album has only sold 300K total. 325, 350K total. Y'all get a little too hype off these first week sales. Y'all get a little too hype off this shit. So to Logic and his group and his workspace, I think y'all need to get down to the bottom of what people are criticizing about this album. Do not ignore critics. Do not ignore hate. I think you need to pay some attention to the kind of reviews this album is getting. Look at the positive reviews. Look at the negative reviews. Look at the response to the record with what your fans are saying. And take a look at these sales. Get to the bottom of why this happened. So that when his fourth album drops, when his fourth album drops, and if his fourth album does 300, 400, 500K, we make sure it doesn't drop to below 100K second week. 250 first week is good. 250 total, not so good. So, that's my spiel. That's my spiel on that. We gonna move on, child. We gonna keep on rolling.